Installing a rain gauge tipper on a ATS22, quite a large item, hence why I've had to zoom out. Basically the main body of the unit is the actual rain collector in here, and it has a debris screen which you can just wiggle if you need to replace whatever, to stop the stuff, leaves and bits going in, to just push it in like that. The main tipper is actually underneath. Just make sure that if you get one of these that the paint's not been disturbed, as they get calibrated from the manufacturer on the amount of tips it does. So if the paint is broken, then you may need to recalibrate this. You need to separate these two when you install, because you need to test the tipper, which I'll show you the process of testing it. But as far as on the TerraTerm side of things, I'll do that in a separate video. Yes, so you need to test the tipper once it's installed into the ATS22 to make sure it works, and then you'll be able to obviously fit the lid back on, then install this on site in whatever application you're using it for. So using a flat bladed screwdriver, it's got 3 little pins or pegs on this metal base, on just 3 little holes. Just carefully just prise the front one out, and then when you be able to lift it up, you can just stick that down there like so. So the main body can just go out of the way for the moment. Be careful with this plastic tipper and the sensor. So the sensor comes up the cable, which is using the same glands, etc., inside this tube, and it's kind of sort of Y-shaped inside. So if ever you have to replace the sensor, you've got to make sure you get in the right angle when it goes in. You'll see it can only go in one way, and then the sensor sort of sits behind here, and this little magnet on the tipper, as the rain tips in, will just go backwards and forwards and register past the sensor itself. So this is what we'll test to make sure it works when you install, and this is also if the tipper breaks for whatever reason, this is the part you're going to be replacing. It's cabled obviously, and from the manufacturer it will have a gland and a collar on, because it won't go past the plug, because this one has the Pancon connectors. You can see that now, which you can only use these connectors in the ATS22, but you do get a version of this where it's just cables, just the wiring, which can be used in the Micrometos, which I'll cover that in another video. So you will need a washer, which we can get from the ATS22. So back to our unit. Just come down a little bit. So inside the ATS22, you've obviously got all these connector blocks, which is what the Pancon connector fits to, and rain. You can see it's written in gold. It kind of shines off the light a little bit. With the naked eye you can see them perfectly. It says there rain, and it's this one here. So everything's the same, because this one is quite close to the edge. I'm going to use this side, flat bladed screwdriver, loosen the plug, keep the cap. We're going to use the washer for this one, so if you just slip the washer over the Pancon connector, it's just big enough. Now pushing these connectors through these holes, they're exactly the same size, but you've got to be just a little bit careful with these connectors, because I don't know if you can see the wire in there. It slots into the slot on the top, and then it bends over and just clips into place out the way there. So you just got to be careful you don't pull them out. Just taking a little bit of time. So just feed it through. Once it's kind of level, just gently push it through like that. Because our connector we're going to is this one here. Push the connector onto the top. On the back of the PanCon connector there's like a little notch. Once it's level, just push down with your finger and it clicks over the notch, so you know that is in. And then the same process with these glands. Finger tight, and then like we've done before, push the cable through just so you can see the end of the outer cable. Just hold it with my finger and then use the collar to pinch it tight, like so. So then that is solid. And that is the rain gauge tipper into the ATS22.